Welcome to Theory Hammer, fellow 40k nerds. Now, I have not done a review on the channel for the Thousand Sons, but I have read their codex, and my god, do I have some things to cover, huh? So for this video, we're going to talk about the Sekhetar robots specifically. Did you guys hear about these things? Because they seem pretty nuts. So let's first take a look at the army rule, and then we'll look at the robot's datasheet, and then we'll find some cool combos for them. So our army rule is our Cabal of sorcerers. It's the psychic phase. You make psychic tests and you cast psychic powers. It's on screen for you to read, but basically this is how it works. At the start of your shooting phase, you can cast powers. You pick a guy, you pick a power, you roll 2d6, and then you can add in a third d6 if you want. At least, I'm pretty sure that's how that works. If not, then you'd have to choose between rolling 3d6 or 2d6, whatever. I'm pretty sure you can add the dice in after you roll. So, if you roll a double or a triple, you take d3 mortal wounds. If it goes off, great. If it fails, you can try again with a different sorcerer, but once something is cast, you cannot cast it a second time. Now, every power has two parts, a regular effect and an enhanced effect. Destiny's Ruin is first. You pick a unit within 24 inches and line of sight. Anyone who shoots that unit rerolls 1s. If your psychic test was a 10+, then you reroll all your hits. Now, this gets really dumb with things that have lethal hits and when combined with other psychic powers like Twist of Fate. But the next one that we got is Temporal Surge. And this lets you move a friendly unit within 24 inches and line of sight up to d6 inches. If your test was a 10+, then it's just a flat 6 inches. Doombolt is next. Good old Doombolt. 12-inch range, gotta have line of sight, does d3 mortal wounds. Unless your test was an 11+, in which case it does d3 plus 3 mortal wounds. And then finally, we have Twist of Fate. This used to just take away armor saves entirely or something outrageous like that. Now it's just pick an enemy unit within 24 invisible. Anyone who shoots at them gets +1 to the AP. Unless you rolled a 12+, in which case you get +2 to your AP. So that is some sick nasty shit right there. Okay, so that's the army rule. It's broken as fuck. You pick a unit, reroll hits against that unit. You pick another unit, you get to move it 6 inches to get it into line of sight of something. You pick another unit and you just do damage to it with Doombolt, and then you basically take away armor saves for another unit. All in the same turn, every turn. Fucking wow. Anyway, let's get into what this video is actually about. Here's their datasheet. It looks like shit. I'm working with what I got. They have an 8-inch move. They are toughness 6 with a 3-up save and a 5-up invuln. They have 4 wounds, their leadership 7, and their OC 1. If you're hearing any background noise, by the way, I do apologize. It's storming very hard outside. But that's their profile. Then for ranged weapons, they have heavy warp flamers. These are just, flamer 12-inch range, d6 shots, ignores cover, and torrent. Strength 5, AP 2, damage 1. Then you have the Hellfire missile rack. This is going to be 2 shots, a strength 10, AP 2, damage 3, only hitting on 4s though. You then have this melt-a-gun thing. It's a strength 10 melt-a-gun. It's pretty cool. It is melted 2, strength 10, AP 4, d6 damage, 12-inch range, 1 shot hitting on 4s, so not amazing there. And then you got the Warp Flame Projector. This is strength 3 AP 1. It's a flamer though with d3 shots. And then for combat, they either have their normal close combat weapon, which isn't good, or you have a better close combat weapon, which is your Power Claw. That is going to be 3 attacks on 4s again though at strength 10, AP 2, damage 2. These guys get to Overwatch or Heroically Intervene for free, and you take them in units of 2 to 4. They are somehow 45 points. They're a vehicle, they're a walker, that's pretty much the only thing that matters there. Okay, so 45 points for these? There's no fucking way that's right. Dude, they infiltrate too. They have stealth, they're toughness 6 with a 3-up, 5-up, and 4 wounds, but Kevbot, they hit on 4s. Do they? Says here that they can swap their melt-a-gun for another flamer, so nah, cause that's what I'm here for, honestly. Oh look, a full unit gets 8 shots at strength 10, AP 2 for 3. Yeah, I don't care. I have an infiltrating unit of tanks with 8 flamers on it, and combat to boot, but vehicles can shoot in combat. So, just flamers, bro. Roast them. Trying to charge me? Get roasted. Take 8 flamers to your face. Oh, by the way, that was free. So, yeah, what the fuck? Bro, you shoot these at a unit with Twist of Fate, and there are ways in this codex to increase your ritual results. Also, you can just roll 3d6 off of, Magnus and just not care if he takes damage. Also, he's +2 to cast. So now you're rolling 3d6 hoping for a 10. Suddenly all these flamers become AP 3 with ignores cover, so basically AP 4. No, what? Oh my god, the Warp Flamer's AP2 base. I'm pretty sure I said AP1, but I literally just noticed that it's actually AP2. So it's like AP5, I guess. So you shoot your big flamers, right? It's 14 shots on average. Call it like 10 wounds. Then it's like 7 shots from your little flamers. That'll be like an extra 2 wounds. So like 12 wounds to a Marine unit. And they basically just don't get saves. They get a 6 up against 2 of the wounds. And who am I kidding, right? Like, they totally shot their Hell Fury, Hellfire missile, the rack of missiles that they have on their back, at some unit that had its destiny ruined, so they were rerolling hits against it, which would be like, no, 6 hits at 10, 2, 3, just because. So let me try to think of some other crazy stuff that you can do here. Now, we do have an 8-inch move with Infiltrate, so we're definitely charging on turn 1, and we do so after flaming the shit out of some screen or something. We're okay in combat, we're not great, you know, you're looking at like 6 hits at 10, 2, 2. They're basically just power fists, you know. They probably kill a screen with the flamers and then tie something up. But like, that's only the first unit? And call me crazy, but 3 units of 4 of these things only set you back 540 points? Bro, that's like 25% of your army for 12 of these fucking things. They have stealth, so they're like secretly a bit harder to destroy at range. They've got 4 wounds, so like 3 damage weapons just aren't good against them. They also do have an invuln all the time. It's 5 up invuln, shooting and combat. Like, okay, so a spawn is 40 points, right? It has no gun. It has okay combat. It does not have an invuln. It has a 4-up save. It swaps infiltrate for scout sometimes. It does have a feel no pain all the time, but it doesn't have stealth, so that's kind of a wash. But like, here's a comparison to the two. I'll actually like make a chart and show you. So a spawn, 40 points. Stupid ass robot, 45. So as a 5-point upgrade here, this is what we're getting. The spawn has no gun. The robot has 3 guns. It's got an AP1 flamer, an AP2 flamer, and 2 strength 10 missiles that are 3 damage each. The spawn has okay combat, you know, weapon skill 4 up, not very strong, strength 5, AP1, a bunch of attacks. The robot though, also hitting on 4s, but it's strength 10, so it's literally twice as strong, has twice the AP, but has less attacks. The spawn has scout, sometimes. The stupid ass robots have infiltrate all the time. The spawn have a varied movement just kind of depending on the faction. The robots always move 8 inches. Spawn are toughness 5, most of the time. The stupid ass robots are toughness 6, all the time. Spawn do have a 5-up feel no pain. The robots have stealth though. They both have 4 wounds. The spawn has a 4-up save. The robots have a 3-up save. The spawn have no invuln. The robots have a 5-up invuln. The spawn have some ability that may or may not be useful, just depending on the faction. This robot unit always has a useful ability because it's in Overwatch with 8 flamers for free that are AP1 and 2, and then they're both OC1. So I don't know, you tell me, is 5 points worth +1 save, a 5-up invuln, 3 guns, a higher toughness, and a much better ability and infiltrate? Yeah, I think so. I think so. So you tell me how the fuck one of these things is 45 points. I will wait. No, I won't, but you can tell me down below. Now, we did discuss a few funny things you can do, right? Like extra AP, reroll all hits for the rockets, all that's really cool. But what about some strats? Well, as it turns out, there are a few strats that I noticed that would make this unit even more ridiculous. The first one is probably obvious to anybody who plays Thousand Suns. It's going to be Ensorcelled Infusion. Your vehicle unit gains psychic attacks. I'm not sure what the significance of that is, though, because like there's nothing in this detachment that gives psychic stuff. And I didn't see any characters that were obviously giving psychic weapons buffs. Anyway, so they become psychic, but they also get +1 to wound. And obviously that's the part that I care about. So remember when we did like 12 wounds with our flamers? Now it's 15, so it's almost 8 Marines wiped from a unit without the missiles shooting. Now the +1 to wound on the missiles does become pretty interesting. But that is right. You guys did say before that they hit on 4s. You were like, these units are bad because they hit on 4s. You're right, they hit on 4s, but I mean, you could just take Perplexing Cloak on a Terminator Sorcerer and give out +1 to hit. Could do that instead, and then you could ruin somebody's destiny with the rerolls to hit, and now you have 8 shots that hit on 3s with full rerolls, and then +1 to wound at like AP4 from Twist of Fate. So we shoot something like a Predator. Hi, take approximately 5 saves at AP4 for flat 3. And in this detachment, like our detachment rule, which I didn't even really talk about the detachment very much, we get to reroll a hit though, and we get to reroll a wound and a damage roll, but that's not relevant here. So yeah, we just shoot a bunch of missiles at your Predator, it just dies, and then we shoot our flamer somewhere else, and we wipe a screen, and then we charge and get into combat and just tie some shit up. 180 points, by the way. Fair stuff. 180 fair points. So real quick, I just want to do some theory hammer and see what kind of damage we're actually looking at against some hard targets. First one would be a Land Raider, obviously, with Armor of Contempt, always. We'd be wounding it on 4s. If we stack the deck, we're hitting on 3s with rerolls, at AP4, with +1 to wound, and a single reroll to wound. Kevin did some math, and it's like exactly 4 wounds. You're on a 4-up save because of cover and Armor of Contempt, and so you fail 2, you take 6 damage, you're down to 10. Cool. Let's add the Flamers together, since they all wound on 6s, but now on 5s. And from that, we're looking at about 21 shots. You do like a wound or 2-ish with the Strength 3 Flamer, and then you do another 3 from the Strength 5 Flamer. And the differential there is because they do have different APs. But yeah, like you're down to like 5 wounds, and then I charge. It doesn't actually do anything though. You know, hit you with 6, you take 2 wounds, you fail 1, you take 2 damage, you're down to 3. Obviously, a Land Raider with Armor of Contempt is not our ideal target. And we still bring it down to 3 wounds. Now we do have the other build, of course, which would definitely destroy a Land Raider, because having AP 6 on Melta is pretty good. So when we shoot our missiles at the Land Raider, it will go down to 11 because we're going to use that reroll to wound on the Melta. With the Meltas though, we do also get that reroll damage part of our detachment rule. And I'll probably make a video about the detachments themselves specifically, this one and others, just to go over them in more detail, but it's down to like 11 wounds, right? The Flamers shoot. They'll do about 3 wounds, so now it's down to 8 wounds. When the Meltas do shoot, they'll get about 2 wounds through, because they're hitting on 3s with full rerolls, because of our, Destiny's Destruction or whatever, Destiny's Ruin. So hitting on 3s with rerolls, and we're hitting on 3s because of that Sorcerer. And then we're wounding on 4s with a reroll to wound, and your Land Raider gets a 6-up save, because it's going to have cover, and my AP is now 5, so it basically goes down to 4. So it gets a 6-up save. So about 2 of them get through, because you get a little bit more than 2 hits. Or 2 wounds, I mean. And we're going to be in Melta range, and that's going to do a little over 10 damage without using our reroll damage, and we only needed to do 8. So we actually could have, like reliably, this 180 point unit actually destroy a Land Raider with Armor of Contempt, using those buffs, Twist of Fate and Destiny's Ruin. A 180 point unit that it itself is kind of annoying to deal with, because it's not a unit of Assault Intercessors with like a crazy Smash Captain that did a bunch of damage. It's basically 4 battle suits that are tougher with a free Overwatch. So the Melta build is actually fine as well, although I would always rock the Flamers, at least I think, maybe. I don't know, it does seem pretty good to be able to infiltrate up all that firepower, potentially get a 6-inch extra move on them, plus their 8-inch normal move, plus they're infiltrating, so like they're gonna get into Melta range, give them rerolls if possible, give them +1 to wound, and just Melta something dead on turn 1. It definitely throws the unit away, but like, dude, when you can trade a 180 point unit for a 240 point or more Land Raider, and then the opponent like actually has to like dedicate shit to deal with your unit after it overwatches them for free, I would say that's a win. Almost nothing in the game does cool things without being buffed from other places, and the same thing is true here. We need some buffs to get our damage up to those levels, and a Land Raider with Armor of Contempt is one of the single hardest things to destroy with like normal damage, so like not mortal wounds. It's toughness 12, it's got a 2-up save and cover, and then your AP's worse. It's just hard to get through something like that in this edition. So I guess the point that I'm eventually going to get to is that everything in your army is going to get these same buffs when we talk about how much damage it's going to do. And yeah, so the ultimate point being that you have a fucking 180 point unit that can one-shot a Land Raider. But how about some Terminators? Yeah, bye-bye Terminators. Not entirely, but the unit gets neutered. The Flamers are going to take out about 2 of them. The missiles, after all said and done, you're going to get about 7 wounds on them, because you're hitting on 3s, re-rolling, you're wounding on 2s with a reroll to wound. The Terminators are going to fail half, which is 3.5, so obviously you can't do that in real life, so either 3 or 4 will die, and you just wiped a couple from the Flamers, so like 6 Terminators are dead. You're going to get another one in combat, and this unit costs 180 points, and it's like annoying because it's toughness 6 with invulns, 4 wounds apiece, like. And then at the end of the day, when you finally get through the unit, you're like, damn, how many points was that? And I'm like, 180. Now in this detachment, Warp Forged Cabal, there's a strat for Armor of Contempt. It's called Hex Marked Armor. But yeah, we have Armor of Contempt. We also then have Fallback, Shoot, and Charge, which is called Cyber Spirit Machinations? Something like that. But that seems pretty good on these, You charge me, I overwatched you for free, killed like half your unit. These things are pretty beefy, so maybe you destroy only a couple of them because I overwatched and killed half your unit. And then the other 2 decide, you know what? These Flamers would be great over there. I'm going to fall back, shoot, and charge over there. And what else can we do? I don't know. I mean, you can move them an extra 6 inches to get their flamers in range on turn 1, or on turn anything, really. So, like, you win the roll-off for deployment, you infiltrate a squad up, then you win the first turn roll-off, right? Then you move 8, you move 6, you get 8 flamers in range, you twist to fade them, you take away out their fun, they flip the table. But no, that's not going to happen turn 1. Unless you have, like, some really fast sorcerer that could, like... Maybe he could actually get temporal whatever the fuck cast on him so that he can move 6 inches, and then you cast Twist of Fate. It's a whole lot of hoops to jump through there, but yeah, that's a possibility. But I think you probably just infiltrate these guys, you stage them up until you do have the opportunity to hit people pretty reliably with Twist of Fate and just melt them with flamers. So do you actually run 3 units of these things? Nah, I mean, maybe. They are way too cheap. But no, probably not. You probably run 1 unit of them, maybe 2. But like, my God, man, like even if you did decide I'm going to go all in, I'm going to run 12 of these things, they're my favorite model ever, it's 540 points. And for the output they have, for the durability you're getting, like just a casual 24 flamer shots that can overwatch for free and such, beefy anti-tank as well, they got combat, you just can't go wrong with them, you know? And honestly, my friends, this is probably just scratching the surface. There's probably like 10,000 other combos in this book that I don't even recognize. Thousand Sons have always kind of been like that though. There's tons of options and they, as a faction, just have a really high skill ceiling. So if you don't actually like actively play them, which I don't, then it's possible that people like me, or you maybe, might not notice some of the other really crazy nutso shit that's in the book. But at a glance, these robots are fucking nuts. But that's kind of it for me on this one, folks. I just wanted to get a quick video out discussing the Sekhetar robots. I'll definitely make some other videos about some of the other units that are in the codex. Maybe I'll do some detachment breakdowns, you know, stuff you guys would expect. If there's anything in particular that you want me to go over, let me know. Leave it in the comments. But yeah, I mean, I just wanted to make a quick video on these robots. They're really, really good. They're likely going to go up in points. The other thing here is that this book is just so fucking good. It's like Death Guard, you know, you just have so many good options all over the place. All your characters are good, rubrics are good, you know, the detachments are good, your army rule's good, most of your units are good or have some play. Like, there's just a lot of good stuff going on here, and so you're not starved for good options. But 3 units of robots is probably not what you actually take in reality, but goddamn, I couldn't help myself. For 45 points, these things are just busted. There's several ways that you can make them more efficient. Not that they really even need it at their points costs, but like, you know, things like Destiny's Ruin for rerolls to hit, the Sorcerer giving them that +1 to hit, Twist of Fate making their guns even more nuts, the strats that I mentioned, you know, being able to fall back, shoot, and charge, Armor of Contempt, +1 to wound. There's just no way that I could ignore this unit. But I do want to know what you think, so let me know down below what you think of this unit. Are they way worse in practice? Are they way better in practice? Let me know. Thunderhammer that like and subscribe button. Doombolt Nurgle's bell. Check out the other videos. We're now branching out to lore stuff, so hopefully you guys like that, and if you don't, too bad, because I'm going to keep making more of them. Check out the Power Fisters, and I guess that's it. But that's going to do it, friends. You made it to the end. Thank you very much. You're awesome. All of you are awesome. So make sure you theory hard, my friends, and I'll catch you in the next video.